Thank you. Senator Moran.
Chairwoman, thank you. I wish you and the ranking member well, and will pledge to be a good member of this subcommittee to see that we achieve good results at NIH and other things. One of the examples of, not in every instance, if you spend money, do you necessarily get a better result, but there is plenty of evidence that at NIH that does occur. And Dr. Hodes, I would highlight particularly the increasing total amount of money. So Dr. Tabak, I highlight that to you and what has happened, but in the area of Alzheimer's, I think we've seen significant difference, and perhaps you can tie it to the additional resources that this subcommittee, this Congress has provided to NIH. I would be happy if you'd like to confirm that more resources do make a difference, Dr. Hodes.
I'd be happy to confirm that they have made a difference. The enormous progress we've seen could not have happened at this pace without the increased support and investment in research. And similarly, we'll do our best to continue the momentum of this with whatever resources are available.
Could you put that in personal terms, what it might mean for a family or an individual who has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's?
Well, I think with a reduction or limitation in resources, we do our best, of course, to be good stewards of what resources we have, but inevitably, it would slow the progression from most basic discovery through identification of new diagnostic, therapeutic, and preventive measures. We haven't spoken as much about prevention as we have of treatment, but that's another one of the very high priorities in which we've made great progress, that continuation of which is going to be dependent upon resources.
Thank you for the reminder about prevention. I chair the Down Syndrome Caucus in the Senate, and one of the things that I appreciate is the opportunity. We have one of the institutes that have a role to play in that research. The relationship between Down syndrome and Alzheimer's is still being developed and understood, and hopefully providing information and a path forward. Anything that I ought to know, maybe Dr. Tabak, about what's going on in the realm of Down syndrome and how our caucus and my colleagues and I can be helpful in not only in the research that's going on, but in assistance to individuals and families.
Well, with the continued leadership and support of the Congress, we have expanded our work with individuals with Down syndrome. For example, the Include initiative, which stands for Investigation of Co-occurring Conditions. As you know, people with Down syndrome are more susceptible to certain types of disease and are less susceptible to others. And so there is something to be learned for the general population as well as those with Down syndrome. We are, in particular, trying to enroll more people with Down syndrome in typical clinical trials so that we have a better understanding of what interventions that we use for the general population would have on individuals with Down syndrome. You've already alluded to the intersection between Down syndrome and Alzheimer's disease, and of course, Dr. Hodes is best prepared to speak to that specific point if you are interested.
Dr. Tabak, let me suggest to you that if NIH would provide me with information about how to encourage additional individuals with Down syndrome to participate, we'd be glad to take that on as a project in educating our constituents, beneficial to them and beneficial to NIH.
Thank you. We really appreciate that.
And we may suggest that we have a Down syndrome caucus meeting in which we pursue that and other issues that are going on.
Thank you.
Dr. Lowy, I raised this issue a year ago with Dr. Tabak, and I want to highlight this again. I'm concerned about the competition that will occur for cancer research funding. So we have funding at the Advanced Research Project Agency, ARPAA, and I want to make sure that it doesn't come at the expense of basic clinical research at NCI. We also have ARPA-H and the Cancer Moonshot Initiative. And I'm looking for a commitment by you and by NIH that there will be a prioritization that NCI competitive cancer grants will be funded in FY24.
Senator Moran, thanks to you and the committee and the long-term strong support, we were able in FY23 to increase the pay line for our large awards from the 11th percentile to the 12th percentile. This will mean more than 100 additional grants than we were able to do in 2022. It is still not enough. As you know, there has been tremendous opportunities for cancer research, and so researchers are flocking to the NCI in large numbers, larger than in other areas. And therefore, although we're supporting many more investigators than we did previously, our pay lines or success rates are not where they should be. Turning to your specific question about these other entities, I can assure you that we interact regularly with them. For example, with ARPA-H, Dr. Bertagnoli and Dr. Wegerson, who is the head of ARPA-H, meet regularly, but we also are communicating directly with various possibilities of research that could be conducted by ARPA-H versus research that would be more appropriate for NCI, and to work collaboratively and together to make this a reality.
Thank you. Chairman, I wish that Dr. Collins was here to hear Dr. Lowy say that researchers are flocking to the NCI, and I would look at that photograph of this young lady whose grant wasn't adopted, and she was leaving ending her career in research. It was something that captured me a long time ago on this topic about individuals that we lose when the money's not there. Thank you.